I find out maybe a couple of weeks later that from a friend who knows that I usually
What was that? Was that your tooth?
No, it's like one of the candy, like my mints.
Okay.
Right. So yeah. So
Please don't edit it out. And I was waiting to see is the candy gonna fall out of your mouth, because I can see how like you're trying to like nonchalantly keep it in. Welcome back to another episode of The Clever DJ with Ilia
and Nino. Welcome back, guys. Episode number 24.
Number 24.
Yes, sir. Okay.
So
yeah.
last episode we announced that our YouTube channels, TikTok,
all our social
medias, our website, everything is going live. Everything's going to get up to date in the month of June. And starting from July, everything's going to be synchronous. Everything's going to be released at the same time. You'll be able to follow the podcast in a much more interesting way. Today's episode is kind of weird and funny.
Yes. Okay.
Nina's going to be leading it.
I'm going to be talking about my stories as a DJ. Weird, funny, embarrassing moments that I've encountered. And you're in some of them too, right?
Yeah, so. All right. And a lot of this was written, actually the whole thing was written without my knowledge. So I'm really looking forward to hear what this is.
Okay, the first one now, we actually brought this up in the previous episode, right?
Oh, I love this one.
you actually bring it up all the time. And it's very embarrassing for me because we were literally doing a ceremony, right? And it was outside on a patio. And they're already doing their vows, right?
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, I love you. I love you forever." Oh, yeah, I love you too.
and then all of a sudden I was, and then everybody just looked at me. I was like, "Oh,
your face! You went so pale,
bro."
Nino spun the.
Yeah, I spun it back. I didn't know I didn't have the volume down. It was all the way up still, so I spun it back. I was like, "Oh my god, what am I doing?" But it was too late by then.
And it wasn't just like a quick like. It was.
And then I was shocked. I was like, "Oh, did I just do that?"
And the crowd responded immediately with an approval of like it. Just the bride and the groom were like, just like they weren't livid. They were actually laughing. They loved it.
You're laughing.
But that was thanks to your diligence to keeping them happy throughout. The first portion of the night.
Yeah.
What did you do with what was it? Was it Whitney Houston?
Oh yeah.
With the song, how you stopped it, and everyone's they're waiting for the moment to start singing. And
so before the drop goes, I stop it, and then everybody's waiting for it. But I wouldn't play it. I'd let them react and like, what's going on? And then I'd play it, and so they
I have the video of that too. When they're like, there we go.
Yeah.
And you build such a rapport with them.
Yeah, I know. It's the things you do, the little things, right? The little details. It makes a big difference.
And they already kind of like you were buddies with them before they even came out to the dance floor.
Yeah. So yeah, it's important to have that rapport with your clients and just be happy, have a good time with everybody. Everybody's there to have a great time. So I was having a great time, and you were there too.
I was having a great time.
You witnessed all this stuff too,
was
right?
that the one we were driving to and we almost ran out of gas?
You know what? That's the next point. That's the next point I was getting at.
Oh my I didn't even read it.
Okay, so. This is literally on our way there. So he comes to my house and we drive together. And me knowing my car, I'm like, okay, I think I have like a quarter tank of gas. I'm like, okay, we have 2.5 hours drive right now up north. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is going to be gas stations around. So I'm
There
like,
are no gas stations on the way to Muskoka.
I just realized that, like, on when you're in like very rural areas, like those areas, there are no gas stations at all.
And sometimes there's a gas station on Google Maps, but there's no gas station in reality. There's nothing there.
But you know what? I did
Or it's
pass.
closed.
I did pass by like a few before on our way there when before we got into the like the foresty areas, right? And I was like, no, we're still good. We're still good. And if you know your car, you know your car, right? So I'm still driving. I'm like, okay, we're still okay. I think we have like another 20 kilometers on this. Okay. And then like, okay, I asked you, hey, where's the next gas station? And then we're looking,
And I'm quiet.
we don't see any cars. It's just like one road and then trees. I'm like, okay, wait, hey, where's the next gas station?
And I'm quiet. I'm not responding because I'm like, shoot, I
You're
don't know.
checking. You're checking.
I don't know
right?
what to tell you because it was like 45 minutes or something like that, or half an hour.
bro.
Because your light was about to turn on.
It was about to turn on. It was like really
You were like 20 kilometers left or something.
oh yeah, bro. Do you remember how nervous I was getting?
Yes. So the funny part was, okay, to me it was funny. One of the funniest parts was the fact that I think you literally set a record of how far you could have driven with a car saying you have 0 kilometers left. So as
Real.
everyone knows, once you like been driving for a few years and you've been in that situation, when it says 0, it's not really 0.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of gas there.
Yeah, probably like 20 kilometers, something like that, right? Depends on the car.
Yeah.
Do you remember how many we drove? It was way more than 20.
Bro, we were driving for
40 or something?
yeah, 40 kilometers.
I bet that another like kilometer, your car would have stopped in the middle.
Remember when we found
We have
that
the whole video, like
we
dick
do.
log,
I
right?
was actually I still need to edit that video.
There's
I'm
hours.
like, oh my god, that was
You can't get around to it.
yeah, that was terrible, man. I was like saying, yo, we need to get to this and we were kind of late to the wedding too, right? So I was like, are we gonna make it?
It was such a good wedding.
It was that was the one where I did the spin back, right?
Yeah.
The same wedding, right? But
Aren't they your? Aren't you on the preferred vendor list there?
yeah.
I hope you still are after hear the story.
I still am. But that was pretty bad, man. I'm never gonna do that again. Like just a pointer for DJs that are going in very. What areas are those? Like
It's like here in Canada when you drive north of. I'm not gonna say the name of the city. A lot of them wouldn't know. But when you're about an hour north of downtown Toronto, maybe 2 hours north of downtown Toronto, fuel up.
yeah, you need to.
Fuel up.
You definitely need to. So yeah.
Yeah. Like when you're leaving the suburbs and you're going to like countryside, that's what you're talking about.
Yes, countryside is dangerous.
Like you won't, and the thing is, there's no excuse. There's nothing you can do unless somebody can come out. And even if you have someone who's gonna like extend that favor and be like, yo, Nino, I'm gonna come and give you some gas. Yeah, let's wait for an hour or two before he gets there.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh my gosh, if we stop right here, I have to call like CAA to get me gas and then bring me to the actual like gas station and then bring it back. I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be a trip.
I worked for CAA as a tow truck driver. I was driving flatbed years and years ago. Yeah. Just trying to educate myself on like how to be a man and know more about cars and stuff. Right? I just threw myself into that field.
Yeah,
and. We don't respond quickly.
Oh, I'm sure you don't. Especially when you're out there, like in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah. Sometimes we did not respond quickly back then. You try. Sometimes you just can't.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And you'd be waiting
for
quite some time.
A long time.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, it's not ideal, man. So, before you guys go to the countryside, if you guys like have a 2-3 hour drive, make sure to gas up because I learned the hard way. Barely made it. Literally barely made it.
I wish we knew how much. Actually, I asked you, what's your tank size?
I didn't know.
And
man.
I think back then you told me, and we calculated, you had like 0 point something like liters left.
Bro,
we don't do gallons.
I was
in Canada.
running on fumes.
For real.
Literally. And then we had a full, the back was full of gear too, so we were heavier.
A very, very like heavy load kind of wedding. I think we had less than 3 or 4 kilometers left. Not even 5.
Yeah. No,
A couple miles, guys. A couple miles.
not even joking. We barely made it. We were ready to push the car.
Yeah.
Literally.
I mean, you would be pushing the car. I'm not pushing the car.
Damn it.
Yeah, I'm not getting on the backside of your car ever again after you dropped. Is this here too? When you almost decapitated?
No,
not decapitated, but when you almost got rid of my of my foot.
So we were on our way home from one of those long drives, and then I think you wanted to get a charger from my bag.
A charger
from my bag.
Yes.
So from the trunk, we had to open up the trunk, and I think one of my speakers, it was a QSC K12, was like hanging off like by a thread. So he opened it, and then it just literally dropped on his foot, like square, like on a corner, the edge, right? It fell on your foot.
I think it was the edge or like the side of the speaker. And it wasn't like, slowly, it just dropped, like free falling.
Yeah.
From the, what kind of car you have?
It's
Highlander.
A Highlander.
So from the trunk, and I think it was even on something, so it was even higher.
Yeah.
And just boom, just dropped.
Just dropped on his foot.
And it took me about 5 seconds to react because I'm like, did I just lose my foot? Did I crush it?
Yeah. That was pretty bad. I was like, oh, you were in pain for a while. I thought I had to leave you there on the side of the road.
Yeah, that's what he was thinking instead of actually helping me out.
No, I brought you home, didn't I?
Surprisingly, it wasn't actually as bad as it should have been. We don't know. I have a bionic foot or something.
Yeah.
A friend of mine actually drove over my foot once, and he thought I was pranking him, saying that, "Oh, you're on my foot," and he's just looking at me and laughing.
But he didn't know.
No, it wasn't like a Chevy Cruze or something, and he's laughing. I'm like, "You're actually on my foot," and I was wearing dress shoes, and he comes out, he's like, "Oh shoot, I am on your foot," and he starts laughing, like he's just stressed out and he's just laughing.
So he just left it on
for like a good 30 seconds.
Oh.
Like, I don't know, just my feet are special.
Special. You're special.
Thank you.
Your mom says so.
My mom says so. Next one.
Another story that I have.
Another one.
And I think I already mentioned this in the previous episode, right?
I think I got you to do it.
Yeah, and it got me really like riled up because this gets to me because one of my guys that I usually get for this store opening, and I usually do this store opening. I've done it for a long time.
We're gonna refrain from
saying the name of the actual store, but yeah, basically
big chain.
It was time for like a price hike, so I gave them a new price, and then it kind of fell through. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna work with you guys anymore. We decided we're not gonna work with each other, right? So I told all my guys that, okay, if they contact you, don't work with them, okay? I told every single one, and they were like,
"It's
okay.
your account.
Yeah.
You built it.
Exactly.
Over how many months or years?
Years. So I worked with them for probably 7 years. Ever since
7 years.
The first opening of the actual store.
I saw a photo of you actually like.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh man, you're much younger. So that was years ago.
It was a long time ago, man. But I started with them. So
the first store.
Yeah. It was time to just move on, right? So I told all my employees, don't take anything, because we're done. We're done with this. So I find out maybe a couple of weeks later that from a friend who knows that I usually
what was that? Was that your tooth?
No, it's like one of the candy, like my mints.
Okay.
Right. So yeah. So
please don't edit it out. And I was waiting to see is the candy gonna fall out of your mouth, because I can see how like you're trying to like nonchalantly keep it in. To anyone who's listening to us instead of watching the video podcast, Nino was really trying to hide the lozenge. He was like,
sucking on it, and accidentally fell out of my mouth. This guy watched it. Okay.
all right.
Okay. Let's move
Moving on.
Moving on. Okay. So I was talking about. Okay. Don't do it. So I found
do
out
what?
from a friend who knew.
Start over. No, I'm just joking.
What are you talking about? So I found out from a friend that who knows that I do these openings, these gigs, right? So I find out that you don't do these gigs anymore, but there's a DJ here. I was like, really? Send me the picture or his business card. So she asked him for a business card, and then I saw it, and she took a picture. I was like, this guy, he's one of my guys. I'm like,
what a snake,
what a guy. So I was like, I call him up like a couple of days after. I'm like, why, man? And he kind of knew already too. So he was like, guilty. Like, I just wanted to
make money.
Yeah. I knew. Yeah. I just went off on him. And it was like, how could you do this?
And you don't get angry easily.
Yeah.
In the 2+ years I've known you,
yeah,
you don't show your emotions.
Man, I was
upset.
swearing all like everything, the whole alphabet. I was swearing everything at him, and I said, no, that's it. You're done. I'm not getting you any more gigs. So yeah, I backstabbing. Exactly. He messed up totally. But you know what? After years later, he contacted me and asked me for help. He's crawling back on his hands and knees to ask me for more gigs.
Nino has such a big DJing business here that for a person who doesn't own a huge company with, like those companies that are already all over Canada and also cross into the US, for like a person with a small business, technically,
still sole
proprietorship,
it's a corporation. Yeah, it is.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm just saying, there's I don't even know how to call it, but the ones were like Megan Boys, or what was the other one? There's just these
Soul Power. There's
the ones who are just really huge.
Yeah.
Right. You're one level below them, I believe, and you're doing it by yourself. And that guy knew that you have so many connections, so much access to so many gigs, and why would you burn yourself like that?
I don't know, man. Some people are just desperate that way. But yeah, whatever. I just
don't get it.
It's done.
It makes no sense to me.
Well, everybody's different.
And to actually come back to you after that, I would never.
The gall, right? The gall. But
the
you know
nerve.
What? I was like,
I would never. If I screwed someone over like that, first of all, I would never. That's not my personality. But even if I wanted to, logically, knowing the type of business you have and like the kind of mafia connections you have in this industry, I wouldn't be stupid enough to pull something like that. Right? So the fact that some people just don't think, you get one gig and then you burn yourself out of like hundreds of other gigs.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, in the end, I was still laughing because he came back on his hands and knees back to me. I was like, okay, you know what? I'll think about it. But now I get him. I get gigs for him once in a while now.
So even though your company is pretty huge in terms of the access you have to certain venues, and you have over a dozen DJs working for you. The bigger ones, like the one I just mentioned, there's a big one here, Megan Boys, very successful. They don't just do DJs; they do they have different acts, right? Do you think if he did that to them, if he somehow breached a contract and they did not sue him or anything, do you think they would take him back?
No,
a company like that.
No, not at all.
But you did. You helped him out.
I'm nice like that. Yeah. No,
dance.
No, they wouldn't have. They would have done the same thing for sure. There's no way.
Yeah. So they wouldn't have done the same thing. You said you took him back. You helped. No, you didn't take him back. You helped him out. You gave him gigs.
Yeah. Because he was kind of new to the country. I kind of knew he was gonna come back to me because he didn't really have.
He was truly desperate,
connections. Yeah. I understood, but I didn't understand because he kind of didn't know the ways here in Canada. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. All right. Oh wow. Does this? You okay?
yes, I'm good. I'm
Nino
good.
is.
Sorry, I'm under the weather right now.
So a couple episodes ago, if you remember, I think it was episode 22 or 21, I was saying how, hey, there's going to be some ambient noises because, I'm under the weather and, came in and we're recording anyway. I think I got my girlfriend sick and I think I got Nino sick. Only you guys got way more sick than I was. Like you have like extra like symptoms. I don't even know if that was me because I did not have that. I had like a bit more than just a cold.
No,
I don't know what's happened to your throat.
I don't know, man.
But yeah, I think it says that you had someone faint on you.
Okay, so I was.
Were you that good?
This is like 3 years ago. I did another wedding, and basically I started to do the dancing, and then some grandma literally was dancing so hard. I think it was like
How
an
old?
aunt. Like maybe like 75 or something.
Oh, okay. So not like, okay, wow.
So she was elderly, right? I think she was the aunt of the bride.
Okay.
Right, so she was dancing really, really hard. I think she had a little too much to drink too. So
75.
literally, she collapsed and fainted. And
Did you see that happen?
I actually didn't. I didn't see it happen, but I heard somebody actually. One of the bridesmaids came up to me and stopped the music. The aunt collapsed. So I was like, "Oh, okay." So I stopped it, and then we had to wait for the ambulance to come, and they had to, take care of her, attend to her, and make sure she's okay. So we were like, okay. So at least she was, and then they brought her to the hospital, they wheeled her out, and then she was okay, right? So
Did the wedding continue?
the wedding did continue. This was like maybe like an hour into dancing, so she was pretty drunk, right? So I have that effect on dance floors. So
One of the weddings I was at, which I was DJing actually. I was, remember the spot where I used to work as a waiter and then a bartender. I did a wedding there with another DJ. I was supporting him, and the grandmother had to have an ambulance called for her because she tripped on the grass where the ceremony was taking place, and she couldn't even get to the dancing part. And we waited at least an hour and a half for the ambulance to arrive. Then they couldn't open the what is it called? Like
there's a stretcher. Or something?
yeah, it wouldn't open, and it wouldn't like the wheels won't like just like unlock.
Yeah.
Luckily, one of the wedding party, one of the parents or someone was a paramedic,
Yeah.
and he went and helped them out.
Wow.
So he's also a paramedic, and he helped them out, and they wheeled her out of there, and the wedding continued. But it was like at least an hour and a half to 2 hour ordeal.
Yeah.
Funny enough, and I'm not gonna mention the name of the place. I told them while I was part of the catering staff there, while I was bartending there for a couple of shifts, I told them somebody's gonna sue you guys because you have so many holes in your grass, so many like little pits, and I would like roll my ankle sometimes and get really pissed because I'm holding a bunch of like trays and stuff.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
And sure enough, it happened. Right? I told them that time and time again. They weren't listening to me.
Yeah.
There we go.
So there you go.
Yeah.
It happens, man.
That was not even like her fault.
No.
your grandma story or like aunt story, like she was just like
She was sloshed.
boozing.
Yeah, she was boozing, right?
But this one just like didn't see where she was stepping, and it wasn't her fault.
Yeah.
My God.
Well, and then the next one I have is the same deal. It was
Another person fainted.
Another person fainted.
Another one.
This is another one. This is my effect on the dance floor, right? I get them really riled up, so stuff happens, right? So
You should come with a disclaimer.
literally, I should, right? But this time it was the father of the bride. This was just last year.
Oh, was he older too?
Of course, he's the father of the bride. So he's probably like close to 70s as well, right?
Wow.
But he also drank a little bit. But But this time, it was only 10 minutes into dancing. So it was only like 9:30. So literally, he dropped right at like after 10 minutes. And then I think he hit his head on the ground. So everybody was like, oh. And then once again, somebody told me to turn off the music. So I turned it off, right? And then the bride was hysterical. Like she's crying because, of course, she's so close with her dad, right? And it's her dad. So
did they get to do the first dance and everything?
They did.
Obviously,
right?
yeah, by that point.
But obviously, of course,
at least they got to do that, eh?
Yeah. But at the same time, she was just hysterical, going crazy. She ran out of the room. She came back. She's just checking her dad. Then she ran out, just crying. And everybody felt bad, right? And so I stopped, and we just waited until the ambulance came. So the ambulance made sure that he was okay. He wheeled him out, and he was okay, right? But the actual wedding didn't continue.
Wait, so
because
they brought him back, and they just
no. They brought him to the hospital, and then that was that. Nobody wanted to dance.
But why did he fall? Why did he trip?
He was dancing way too hard, and he was drunk too, as well.
Wow.
So. That's my effect, man. It's the Nino effect.
You did the Nino effect. Definitely come with a disclaimer, brother.
Yeah. So that's what happened. Literally, they stopped the party at literally like 9:40. The bride was like hysterical. She was crying all night, and nobody wanted to party anymore because it was the bride's father. Now, if it was someone else, like a guest, if someone else fainted, it's sad to say, but. We probably would have continued with the night, right? But because it was the bride's father's, and you never know
people's health conditions and stuff. Maybe he was dealing with something, so maybe there was a lot more than meets the eye, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's what happened.
So many gigs that you do, you'll have a lot of stories.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm actually redoing their wedding.
I was going to ask you
I'm
because
doing their dance floor again because I felt bad because they didn't
I'm so happy they're doing it. I'm so happy for them.
Yeah.
Because you did tell me something. I was going to ask you.
And I'm not charging them, because,
Right on, man. Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
So I'm doing that for them. So, yeah, it's nice to give back, right? And I felt kind of like it wasn't like I wasn't fulfilled that night because I didn't get to rock the party yet, man. It was only 10 minutes. I was just getting started, literally. So,
man.
Oh well.
Do you think you should say something like, "Hey, Mr. So and So, don't drink too much tonight"?
You know what? I actually said because I brought it up to the bride and said, you know what? we gotta do it again. I'm gonna do it for free. Just get a venue and whatever. It doesn't have to be an expensive hall. It can be just like a community center or someone's backyard or house, and I'll do it for free. Right, but this time, can you get someone to watch over your dad, or maybe like sit down, or someone to just watch him so he doesn't go off? And it's like,
what did they get? Like, did they get like a big venue again, or?
They actually did get a big venue again. Like I haven't done it yet. It's in like a couple of months still. I think
you'll probably need me to come with you.
July.
You'll need some help.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'll let you know.
It's been a while since I came on a wedding or like any gig with you.
I know, right?
Wow, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been hard for you.
You miss it?
Do you miss it?
Do I miss it?
It was fun. It was fun, man.
Yeah, of course it's fun, man. We're just playing around, right? But yeah, that's that. This one time, I didn't get paid for a gig.
How do you? I'm sorry that I'm stopping you.
Yeah.
It's one big paragraph. How are you seeing like what? Where are the like?
Sorry, it's down here. I already went through everything.
Oh, okay.
So I already know. Right. So
is that the? Okay, I can't even say the name, but I know which one you're talking about.
Yes, it's a makeup brand. It's a big one here in Canada. If I say the name, you guys will know. They have stores everywhere, multiple stores, and they get me all the time. They got me as much as the other one would get me, and I didn't start with them, but they got me for a good like 3-4 years.
So
and I've been doing all of their
close
events.
Relationship.
Yes, very, very, very close, right? And they were having a special event, but these people were coming from Montreal now, right? So they didn't know me personally.
We're in Toronto in the suburbs, so
Yes.
we're talking about a couple hour drive.
Yeah, so I was in contact with
More than
them.
a couple hours. Yeah.
The actual company recommended me, so they contacted me straight. These people from Montreal, and then they told me what they need exactly, because they have like a special artist that's doing like makeup on people, so they need certain things and whatever. I need
Was
to
that
be
like a
set
guest
up.
one? That they,
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so big
yeah.
one.
So it was a big artist that was doing like a showcase or something
Okay.
for the crowd, right? And I thought things got mixed up in the details, and I thought, okay, wireless microphone, you guys are gonna need my wireless microphone, right? But they actually meant a headset microphone, like a wireless handheld.
Yeah.
Without no hands.
Also, like something that just like our headphones with a mic.
Yeah, exactly. So they were looking for that, and I totally misunderstood. They didn't really specify, but that's what they wanted, right? So on the day of,
So whose fault was it?
I guess it was my fault for not
Double checking and you
double
understand?
checking that I understood it, but
They did not explain.
they did not explain
well
it
at all.
very, very well. But putting two and two together, if they were putting makeup on someone, I guess, yeah, I did.
You're really trying to see how it was your fault, but
Yeah.
they could have been a bit more.
They could have been a little bit more like
If they
explained it
told you
properly.
it's not a wireless mic, we need our hands to be free.
Yeah.
If they said something like that, you would know, right?
I would know
that's-
to use a headset microphone. They didn't say that. They just need a wireless.
It's our responsibility to always double check, right?
Yeah. So I end up doing the gig, and the way they did it, I was actually freaking out on the day of, and I was looking for a headset microphone. On the day of, I was trying to find along a McQuaid really close by, or a Best Buy, but I couldn't find one.
Surprised that a place like that was not near Long McQuaid.
It was downtown, the middle of downtown. So it was.
There's Long McQuaid's there.
There are, but
Were you did not have enough time because
No.
driving there?
I was-
a,
it would-
a short distance
it would-
takes a long time.
literally I'd start in 20 minutes.
Oh, there's no way.
There's no way, and I had to. I wouldn't even be able to drive, for sure. I
See,
was
if
thinking of
only-
walking anything walking distance.
You knew me back then.
Well, yeah, you would go get it,
I'd help you out
right? But it was
for,
literally too late.
for a symbolic fee.
So what they did, they got someone to hold the microphone for the actual person doing the show, right? So they didn't have to do it with their hands. So I thought everything was okay because they made it work, right? We did the gig. I killed it. People were dancing in the store and everything. So after a few, the next day, of course they haven't paid me. And so I emailed them and asked them for my payment, and they're just like, no, I don't think we're gonna pay you. I was like, what? We're not gonna pay you because you didn't fulfill your obligation. We needed a headset mic, and it was so inconvenient because you didn't bring it. I'm like,
But everything else was on point, right?
everything is, yeah, it was great.
And you've had a long relationship.
But this is another company. But it's the same company, but a different group.
Okay. Because it's a huge chain.
Yeah. So they were from Montreal, and they were supposed to pay me the next day, but they didn't. So, yeah,
Did
I
you
was
stop
totally
working with all of them after this.
no. The actual company still.
Didn't you recently have an event with them, like a few months ago?
Yes.
Okay, so
they still get me once in a while, but yeah, it kind of did tarnish my reputation with them a little bit. But yeah, I didn't get paid for that, so
Yeah.
it was tough. I couldn't even come after them, right? Like I could have technically, but is it
It was
even
better to
worth
just save
it?
face and
Yeah.
and kind of not make it worse,
Because-
not snowball that situation. Because
because like the customer is always right, and they're gonna be like fighting me over it. Like, yeah, he didn't provide this, and I'm like,
It's going to cost you more to fight it.
It is.
Plus, it's going to tarnish your reputation even more, right? So-
exactly. So I just left it alone. I'm like, no, there's no way. So I just left it alone. I didn't get paid. That's my thing.
And then, I know you have a couple other gigs, at least one more gig where you didn't get paid and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
I know there's one very particularly interesting story.
Okay. Yes. This is the one I wanted to get to now.
So we'll talk about the other ones maybe another episode.
But this one, I did a wedding at this venue that I do weddings all the time, right? And at this wedding in particular, I was videotaping for my vlog. I have a YouTube channel, by the way, shameless plug. But it's called DJ Nine's World. But yes. I was videotaping it, and I asked the actual bride and groom if it was okay, and they were like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So, because I was gonna give them the footage too as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I was DJing the dance portion, this lady, this pretty young lady, comes to me and says, "Hi, are you recording this?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" Because can I look at the footage? I'm like, why? Why would you even think? It made me think, like, why?
And you're busy.
And I'm busy. I'm DJing. Like, people are dancing. The dance floor is full, right? So, I looked back on that, and the next day, I was like, I checked the footage, and then apparently there was this couple teasing that girl. Like, she had a short skirt, right? So they were like lifting her skirt up. And apparently she didn't have any undergarments. So there was one moment where the guy took her over her shoulder.
Over his shoulder. And then the girl actually pulled up her skirt. And then I caught it on camera. And then I guess that's why she was... Were you guys working together?
No. So I caught it on camera. So I guess that's what she was like harping about, right? So I was like, oh my gosh, she wasn't wearing it. She knew exactly. But
when you go commando, you take the risk.
hey, what can you do, right? So yeah, and it happens. Sometimes when people find out stuff like that, they tease you the whole night, right? It was funny that I caught it on camera, but it's very, very embarrassing for her. I did post the blog, the actual vlog, and I did censor her face so they wouldn't know
Did you
it's
censor
her.
everything else, not just the face?
From the waist up, you wouldn't be able to know it was her. But
wow.
yes, the skirt thing, I did censor that as well.
Right.
Oops. Yeah, so yeah, I witnessed that. So just
yeah,
a couple of things that I went through, and there's probably going to be a lot more, I'm sure. And of course, you too, man. You're gonna go through a lot of things.
I have a couple things here and there, but nothing that major.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think right now. Like, is there anything? And all I'm getting in my head is, I'm just like, I don't remember. I had certain moments which were like either annoying or like are you kidding me moments.
Yeah.
Nothing this insane.
Yeah.
Except, you know what? I did tell you about the older grandmother, falling, and she broke something.
She actually broke something.
So it wasn't my wedding that I was doing by myself, but it was one of my events. I was being paid for it and everything. So yeah, I guess that's it.
That's it.
There we go. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to my stories, but we'll have more in the future.
Yeah, and thanks for joining another episode of The Clever DJ.
See you guys in the next one.
See you then.